No one in the galaxy expected the signal to matter. It was weak. Broken. Full of static. But it carried one thing no one could ignore: fear. On the edge of mapped space, far from the bright core worlds, a small human colony orbited a quiet blue star. It was peaceful. Farmers, engineers, children. Nothing important to the great powers of the galaxy. That was why it was chosen. When the first Varkal warship entered the system, the colony defense grid tried to scan it. The signal came back cold and sharp. Military grade. Heavy weapons armed. The colony governor sent a message at once. This is a civilian world. You are entering protected space. The Varkal commander replied with one sentence. You are trespassing on Dominion territory. Before the governor could answer, orbital platforms exploded in silence. The attack was fast. Clean. Planned. The Varkal ships moved like machines without emotion. Strike teams landed on the surface. Power stations were destroyed. Communications towers fell. And then the distress call went out. It reached nearby systems. It reached trading routes. It reached the Galactic Council. And it reached Earth. In the council chambers, alien leaders argued about borders and laws. Some said humans had expanded too far. Others said it was a mistake. On Earth, there was no argument. The transmission played in a dark command room. Smoke filled the screen. A human officer, bleeding and shaking, tried to speak. They are not negotiating, they are wiping us out. An explosion cut the message. Screams followed. Then silence. No one in the room spoke. The human admiral standing at the center of the chamber did not shout. He did not slam his fist. He simply watched the blank screen. How many civilians? He asked quietly. Estimated 8 million, an aide replied. Another officer whispered, no survivors detected. The admiral closed his eyes for 3 seconds. That was all. Across the galaxy, the Varkal Dominion released an official statement. They claimed the colony had violated ancient territorial agreements. They said it was an unfortunate but necessary action. They expected anger. They expected protests. They expected humans to speak loudly, like they always did. Instead, humanity said nothing. No press conferences. No threats. No fleet movements. For 3 full days, human space was silent. Other races relaxed. Some believed humans were finally learning restraint. Some believed fear had kept them still. But deep inside classified shipyards hidden beyond known trade routes, something began to move. Massive hangar doors opened. Warships powered up. Engines that had not been used in years came alive with deep vibration. In underground command centers, sealed orders were unlocked. The admiral from the dark room stood before hundreds of officers. His voice was calm. They crossed the line. No one asked which line. Everyone knew. They targeted civilians, he continued. They erased a peaceful world. They believed we would complain. They believed we would forgive. His eyes hardened. They made one fatal mistake. Across the room, screens lit up with star maps. Red markers appeared over Varkal military sectors. We will not answer with rage, the admiral said. We will answer with certainty. On the 4th day, every major communication network in the galaxy flickered. Council chambers froze. Trade stations lost signal. Military relays were overridden. The face of the human admiral appeared everywhere. His uniform was simple. His expression steady. He spoke one sentence. You made one fatal mistake. You thought we would forgive. The transmission ended. In deep space, thousands of human warships exited warp at the same time. And the galaxy finally understood. Silence was never weakness. It was preparation. The first Varkle listening post detected the distortion in space 12 seconds before the fleet arrived. 12 seconds was not enough. Space itself seemed to tear open. One warp signature became 10. 10 became hundreds. Then thousands. Human ships poured into the system in perfect formation. The Varkle commander at the outpost stared at the tactical screen in disbelief. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Human fleet numbers are limited by treaty." The tactical officer answered with fear in his voice. "These ships are not registered." They were right. Many of the vessels entering the system had never been shown to the Galactic Council. Their designs were unfamiliar. Their hulls were darker. Sharper. Built for war, not diplomacy. At the center of the formation moved a massive carrier-class flagship. It did not broadcast a name. It did not request surrender. It simply advanced. The Varkle outpost powered up its defense cannons. Orbital shields flared to life. Automated drones launched into defensive lines. "Open communication," the Varkle commander ordered. A human channel opened instantly. "This is Dominion military territory," the commander said, forcing authority into his voice. "You are in violation of treaty law." A calm human response came back. "You violated life." Before the commander could answer, the human fleet fired. But not wildly. Not angrily. The first volley targeted shield generators with perfect accuracy. The second destroyed weapon arrays. The third eliminated command relays. In less than 3 minutes, the outpost was blind. In 6 minutes, it was powerless. In 11 minutes, it was gone. No escape pods were targeted. No civilian transport lanes were touched. The strike was precise. Controlled. Cold. Across Dominion space, alarms began to sound. Military sectors reported multiple warp ruptures. Human fleets were appearing everywhere at once: shipyards, weapons depots, command hubs. The Varkle High Council demanded answers. "How did they build this force?" one demanded. "Our intelligence showed no such expansion," another said. A quiet analyst finally spoke. "They were building outside mapped space." Silence filled the chamber. For years, humans had accepted limits on fleet size. They had reduced visible military presence. They had attended peace talks and trade summits. But beyond the edge of explored territory, in regions no one cared to patrol, humanity had prepared. Not for conquest. For retaliation. The Varkle Dominion had believed humans were driven by emotion. They now faced something far worse. Human strategy. As the hours passed, more Dominion defenses fell. Not planets. Not cities. Only military infrastructure. Human fleets ignored civilian populations. They avoided collateral damage. They cut supply chains and crippled ship production. It was not revenge driven by rage. It was dismantling. On Earth, the Admiral stood before a tactical display filled with shifting lights. "Status," he asked. "Phase 1 complete in 4 sectors," an officer replied. "Minimal civilian impact. Enemy fleet response scattered." "Continue." There was no celebration in the room. No cheering. Only focus. Back in Dominion space, a Varkle fleet finally managed to intercept one human strike group near a fortified asteroid base. The Dominion ships opened fire first. Human vessels did not retreat. They shifted formation smoothly. Destroyers moved forward. Cruisers formed protective arcs. Then a new weapon activated. A focused energy beam lanced across space, cutting through a Dominion battleship's shield like paper. The Varkle commander watching the battle felt something unfamiliar. Fear. "These are not the humans we studied," he said softly. He was correct. The humans they studied were diplomats. These were the humans who built in silence. By the end of the first day, 7 major Dominion military sites were destroyed. 17 more were disabled. Human losses were minimal. Across the galaxy, observers began whispering a new phrase. The fleet that should not exist. And at the center of it all, the human admiral issued a final order for the next phase. Advance deeper. Because this was not a warning. It was a lesson. And humanity intended to finish it. By the 3rd day of the war, the Varkal Dominion understood something terrifying. This was not chaos. This was design. Every human strike followed a pattern. Supply routes were cut first. Fuel depots were erased next. Shipyards were disabled before fleets could fully mobilize. Communication hubs vanished in coordinated bursts of light. The Dominion Navy was strong. Larger than humanity's visible forces. But strength meant nothing when blind and divided. Inside the Varkal High Command chamber, tension filled the air. They are not attacking our worlds, one general said. They are stripping our claws, another replied. That was the truth. Human fleets avoided population centers completely. No orbital bombardments of cities. No civilian transports destroyed. No terror tactics. Only military power was targeted. The Varkal had attacked children to send a message. Humans were answering by removing the Dominion's ability to ever do it again. In a distant sector near the destroyed colony, a surviving fragment of the Varkal's Second Armada attempted a counterattack. Nearly 200 warships exited warp together, hoping to ambush a smaller human task force. They found only 20 ships. The Varkal commander smiled. Finally, he said. An equal fight. He was wrong. The 20 human ships shifted into a tight defensive sphere. Their engines pulsed with strange energy patterns. As Dominion weapons fired, something unexpected happened. The human ships did not dodge. They absorbed. Energy shields flared bright white, then redirected part of the incoming fire back in controlled bursts. Dominion cruisers staggered under their own reflected power. What technology is this? The commander demanded. No one answered. Then human reinforcements arrived. Not from the front. From behind. Stealth vessels decloaked within Dominion formation lines. Precision torpedoes targeted engines and shield emitters only. Ship after ship lost mobility without exploding. Within 18 minutes, the Second Armada was drifting powerless. The human commander opened a channel. Surrender. Your crews will be recovered. Resistance will result in destruction. The Varkal commander stared at the screen. He saw no hatred in the human's face. Only certainty. He ordered surrender. Across the galaxy, news of the defeat spread faster than official reports could suppress it. Other alien nations began to worry. If humans could dismantle the Dominion so quickly, what else were they capable of? At the Galactic Council, emergency meetings turned into quiet panic. We must demand ceasefire, one representative said. And if they refuse, another asked. No one had an answer. Back on Earth, the Admiral stood before a live projection of Dominion space. Red markers representing enemy military power were shrinking hour by hour. Casualty reports, he asked. Dominion military loss is high. Civilian loss is near zero, an officer responded. And ours? Within expected parameters. The Admiral nodded slowly. Remember, he said, looking at the room. This is not about destruction. It is about consequence. In Dominion Prime Orbit, the ruling council finally broadcast a system-wide message. We call for negotiation, they announced. The conflict has escalated beyond initial intention. The response from humanity was brief. You escalated when you targeted civilians. No insults. No threats. Just truth. As Dominion defenses weakened, one final bastion remained untouched, the prime defense ring surrounding their capital world. It was the largest fortified structure in their history. Planet-sized shields. Layered weapon grids. Thousands of defensive platforms. The Dominion believed it was unbreakable. They consolidated what remained of their fleet there. If humans wanted to end this war, they would have to face the heart of Dominion power. And for the first time since the war began, human fleets slowed their advance. Not out of fear, but preparation. Because the lesson was almost complete. And the price of arrogance was about to be paid in full. The prime defense ring stood like a crown of steel around the Varkal capital. It was their greatest creation. A massive structure made of layered shields, rotating weapon platforms, and thousands of defense stations linked together in perfect formation. It had never been breached. It had never even been tested in full war. Until now. What remained of the Dominion fleet gathered inside its protection. Battleships formed tight circles around command centers. Carrier groups prepared fighter swarms. Long-range cannons charged slowly, drawing power from planetary reactors below. The Varkal leaders believed this would be the line humans could not cross. If the humans attacked, they would face total resistance. If they did not, the Dominion could claim survival. For the first time since the war began, human fleets stopped advancing. They held position just beyond the outer sensor range of the ring. Hours passed. Then a full day. The Dominion grew confused. Why are they waiting? One commander asked. No fleet can break this defense, another replied confidently. They are calculating retreat. But they misunderstood the silence. Far behind the main human formation, something larger than a battleship began to move forward. It was not fast. It did not need to be. The vessel dwarfed nearby cruisers. Its hull was smooth and dark, without visible weapon batteries. Energy signatures around it were unlike anything the Dominion had recorded before. The ship transmitted no threat. Only a request. Open all channels. Against their better judgment, the Varkal command complied. Every screen across the prime defense ring activated. On each display appeared footage from the destroyed human colony. Burning skies. Collapsed towers. The final distress message replayed. Smoke filled the image. A human officer tried to hold a communication device steady while explosions shook the ground. They are targeting evacuation ships, please, if anyone hears this. The screen went white with light. The recording ended. Across Dominion stations, silence fell. Even Varkal officers felt it. Then a human voice spoke across every frequency. You believed distance would protect you. The massive human flagship entered full sensor range. Its designation appeared on Varkal tactical systems. HSF Judgment. You believed power gave you the right to erase lives. Energy levels around the ship began rising rapidly. Dominion commanders shouted orders. All batteries, target the flagship. Thousands of weapons fired at once. Beams and missiles streaked across space toward the dark vessel. The HSF Judgment did not move. A sphere of concentrated energy formed around it, absorbing impact after impact. The glow intensified, growing brighter but never breaking. Then the human voice spoke one final sentence. We remember. The ship released its stored energy. A single focused beam shot forward, brighter than a star. It struck the outer shield layer of the prime defense ring. The impact did not explode wildly. It drilled. Layer after layer of shield collapsed under the concentrated force. Weapon platforms melted. Defensive grids overloaded. A section of the ring cracked open like fractured glass. Human fleets surged forward instantly. They did not scatter. They moved through the breach with perfect coordination. Destroyers neutralized shield generators. Boarding craft disabled command cores. Precision strikes targeted only military control centers. The Dominion fleet fought desperately, but their formation collapsed without full ring support. Engines failed. Power systems shut down under calculated strikes. Within hours, the prime defense ring was no longer a shield. It was debris. Human forces surrounded the capital world but did not fire upon it. Instead, they transmitted one clear message to Dominion leadership. Your military command structure is terminated. Further resistance will endanger your own people. The Dominion leaders finally understood. Humanity did not come to destroy their species. They came to remove their ability to harm others. And as the last Dominion flagship powered down in surrender, the galaxy watched in awe. The unbreakable defense had fallen. Not to rage, but to judgment. And the lesson was now complete. When the prime defense ring fell, the galaxy expected fire to rain down on the Varkal capital. It never came. Human ships surrounded the planet in complete silence. Their weapons remained powered, but none were aimed at cities. None targeted civilian grids. None touched the atmosphere. Instead, a single transmission request was sent. Surrender your war authority. The Varkal ruling council gathered in their dim chamber. For the first time in their long history, their shields were gone. Their fleets were disabled. Their military command was broken. They could continue fighting. But it would only cost their own people. After hours of debate, the Varkal High Sovereign stepped forward and activated the channel. We surrender military control, he said slowly. On what terms? The human admiral appeared on screen again. His face showed no triumph. No occupation, he replied. No civilian punishment. Your species will continue. Your culture will continue. The chamber filled with confused whispers. Then what do you demand? The sovereign asked. The admiral's voice remained calm. Permanent disarmament of offensive fleets. Closure of military shipyards. Reparations for the destroyed colony. An acknowledgement of unlawful aggression before the Galactic Council. The Varkal leaders stared in silence. They had expected humiliation. Enslavement. Revenge. Instead, they were offered consequence. Not extinction. Outside the capital world, human engineers deployed containment satellites around remaining Dominion military assets. Warships were powered down and escorted to monitored docks. Weapon systems were dismantled piece by piece under supervision. There was no cruelty. Only enforcement. Across the galaxy, other civilizations watched carefully. Many had once feared human emotion. Many believed humans were too passionate to be trusted with power. Now they saw something different. Control. Strength guided by limits. At the Galactic Council, a special session was called. For the first time, the Varkal sovereign stood and publicly admitted fault. We misjudged humanity, he said. We believed their restraint was weakness. We believed distance protected us from consequence. He paused. We were wrong. The human admiral did not respond with anger. He did not insult them. He simply confirmed acceptance of the surrender terms. When the session ended, the council chamber remained unusually quiet. A new understanding had settled across the stars. Weeks later, human fleets began withdrawing from Dominion space. One by one, ships entered warp and vanished back toward their own territory. The massive HSF Judgment was the last to leave orbit. Before departing, it transmitted a final message to Dominion planetary networks. Rebuild. Remember. Then it was gone. Back at the ruins of the destroyed colony, human reconstruction teams arrived. New habitats were placed in orbit. Memorial towers rose from the surface where cities once stood. The names of the lost were etched into crystal walls that reflected the blue light of the star above. Children visited the memorials. Soldiers stood guard quietly. Leaders attended without speeches. Humanity did not celebrate victory. They honored memory. In alien academies across the galaxy, new political lessons were added to textbooks. Do not confuse patience with weakness. Do not mistake silence for fear. And above all, never cross the line humanity draws around its own. Years passed. Trade slowly resumed between former enemies under strict supervision. The Varkal adapted to life without aggressive fleets. Other empires reconsidered their own expansion policies. Balance returned to the stars. But in hidden human shipyards beyond mapped space, construction did not stop. Not for conquest. Not for domination. For preparedness. Because humanity forgave many things. Insults. Threats. Even betrayal, sometimes. But the destruction of innocent lives was a line that once crossed would never be ignored. They had made one fatal mistake. And the galaxy would remember why no one ever made it again.